everyone. Dwayne Boswell Show with the Boswell Law Firm, coming to you live on this rainy Friday here in Houston, Texas. And we're still in April, so we're still in Sexual Assault Awareness Month. And today I thought I would just talk about some uh, education that we should all be aware of and some myths surrounding sexual assault, and then talk a little bit about maybe some things that we can do. So, one of the things that's done during Sexual Assault Awareness Month is Denim Day. April 28th is Denim Day, and that is where we wear denim in support of ending rape culture and to support sexual assault survivors. So everybody break out your best jeans or jean jacket or whatever denim you have and wear it on the 28th to show your support. So I've said, a couple times rape culture. So what exactly does that mean? So it refers to a society or an environment where the prevailing attitude or the social attitude has the effect of normalizing or trivializing sexual violence and abuse. Usually it's going to be situations in which sexual assault, rape, general violence are ignored, trivialized, normalized, made into jokes, that sort of thing. So, we hear things like, well, she shouldn't have dressed that way, or, she was asking for it. Making those kind of comments, or making comments like, no, I want to be sexually assaulted, or something like that, those are trivializing the trivializing rape and creating a culture where we've made it normal almost to do that. So Denim Day is really just to expose and defy erroneous and destructive attitudes about sexual violence. If we have excuses, they are allowing the perpetration of victim blaming and upholding of a rape culture in our communities. So victim blaming, that's pretty clearly defined. That it's just whatever occurred to a person, they caused it to occur. So if we have somebody that's been raped, they did something to cause them to be raped, and that's those kind of attitudes and beliefs, and even just saying them out loud is not okay, and what leads to the rape culture that we actually do have. So there are some myths that surround sexual assault. One of them is a rape occurs in a dark alley by a stranger. That's actually just not true. It says most sexual assault survivors know the perpetrator, and about 70% of female rape or sexual assault survivors state the offender was an intimate partner, other relative, friend, or an acquaintance. And that's from the Bureau of Justice Statistics from 2005. That can include your classmates, coworkers, person you're dating, neighbors, caretakers, family members, husbands, boyfriends, people that in positions that you trust. We've heard of doctors doing it, pastors. So it's not any one particular class of person. So instead, productive thinking is, in addition to being aware of strangers, I must recognize that people I know may pose a threat to me, and being able to educate myself about prevention. That way you're recognizing signs that could put you at risk. Another myth: rape is just rough or bad sex. What's the big deal? Almost half of all survivors of rape are fearful of serious injury or death during the rape. Rape is a violent assault that is acted out sexually, which affects an individual's sense of safety and control. Rape survivors are 9 times more likely than victims of other crimes to attempt suicide. So these, not only do you have the physical aspect of the sexual assault, but usually longer term is the mental aspect that goes with that. And because of the culture that we have of victim blaming and trivializing the things that happen in a sexual assault, it makes the victim of that crime feel like they've done something wrong and it's their fault and they're not worthy, and that leads to them being more likely to commit suicide. Women ask to be raped because of the way they dress or act. This attitude holds the survivors of sexual assault accountable for the violence perpetrated against them. No one asks or deserves to be raped. Rape does not happen in response to provocative clothing or behavior. Rape happens because the perpetrator decides that his desires are more important than the victim's right to self-determination. A life free from sexual violence is a basic human right that should be accorded to all members of our society. That is not something that's, well, she deserved it because of whatever reason. Those words should never come out of our mouths. If somebody is in a store that gets robbed and they get shot, we don't say, well, they were asking to be shot. I guess some people may, but typically we don't. And for whatever reason, the sexual violence arena and the crimes tend to be more likely to be trivialized and victim blaming going on than any other area of the law. So a productive way to think about things is dressing in attractive ways or indicating to someone that you like them is never, ever an invitation to be sexually violated. Okay, another myth. It's okay for a man to force a woman to have sex with him if she gets him turned on. This attitude suggests that men are not capable of controlling their sexual behavior. It further suggests that women must ultimately bear the responsibility for a man's violent behavior. This is simply not true. People are able to control themselves when they choose to do so. It doesn't matter if you're a man, a woman, a child. You can control your behavior. You're the only one that can control your behavior. And there is never, ever an excuse to force somebody to do something that they don't want to do. So a way to productively turn that around is if I engage in sexual intimacy, I cannot force or coerce my partner into doing anything that they don't want to, and you have to take responsibility for your own actions. If I choose not to participate, then my partner's sexual urges are not my responsibility. So that's the culture that we want to promote and, teach our sons and our daughters that this type of culture that we've actually developed in the United States is not okay, and we need to change how we think about this. Women only cry rape to get back at men they are mad at because they don't want to admit having sex. False. That is a false thing. It does occur. I won't say that it doesn't, but false rape charges are not frequent. According to the Department of Justice, 1 in every 2.7 million heterosexual males will have a false claim made against them. It's less than 5% of rape claims turn out to be or are proven to be false. So that's 1 in every 2.7 million males will have a false claim. Because of the way society treats rape victims, most people would not put themselves in a position to be ridiculed, demeaned, and subject to public scrutiny if it weren't true. Just the way that we treat the victims. They have to relive it to get on the stand and testify about what happened to them, and then they are, questioned about their own, sexual activities and how they behave, and it's not something somebody's going to put themselves through falsely. Not saying it never happens, it does. And because it does, for the rest of the survivors that make the outcry and they actually press the charges, it just makes it that much more difficult for them. Another big misconception is men can never be sexually assaulted. That's not true. Men can and are sexually assaulted. 1 in 6 men have experienced sexual violence before the age of 18. So that's not a much different number than sexual violence against women. Women, it's about 1 in 3. Men, it's about 1 in 6. Because anyone can be sexually assaulted. Women and men, from the very young to the elderly, people of all ethnicities, socioeconomic levels, people with disability, and all sexual orientations are sexually assaulted. They actually, a statistic that's out there is homosexual individuals, transgender individuals, they tend to be victims of violent sex crimes more often than heterosexual. So that's just some of the the myths and things that I've come across in my dealings. And if you've been a victim of a sexually violent crime, report it. It's not going to be easy, but you will have people that can support you. And if you're going through anything like that and you just want to share your story, you can reach out to me anytime. You can do it through a direct message to me, and then we can get on a private channel and talk about what's going on and some things you can do to help yourself. As far as the law goes, there is a protective order specifically for sexual assault, and if you can prove that it's more likely than not that a sexual assault occurred, you can get a lifetime protective order against the perpetrator of that violence. So hopefully this clears up a few of the misconceptions surrounding sexual assault and sexual violence. As always, if you have any questions, you want to just reach out to me. You can direct message me through the page, or you can reach me at service@boswelltexaslaw.com or at 832-919-6595. I hope everybody has a great weekend, and we will see you next week.